I wonder if you take that precious cup of coffee and you dunk your Dorito in it. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. Literally, there is a flavor. I think it's really, really limited. And it's the coffee Dorito. And it's not your coffee tasting like a Dorito. It's your Dorito tasting like coffee.
Yeah, they must use like coffee grounds as the seasoning. Like you would get the spicy Doritos or the Cool Ranch. I think it's like a coffee ground situation. But yes, they're extremely limited and we can't get them here, only in Australia. And you got to win a bag to even be able to taste them.
Well, they've already done that.
Yeah.
So people won their bags already because that thing was only like a week or so and it ended yesterday. But this is for Australia and it was on their Instagram. But here's the thing. There's such a cry for it here in America that they think there might be the possibility that we'll have the opportunity to have our own bags of coffee Doritos.
I almost think that we'll have to win them. But I mean, if you just want to go ahead and figure out, am I going to like them? I think it would be fairly easy. Just get a regular Dorito, right? And then get a cup of coffee and put those two things together and you should be able to somewhat taste it.
But who came up with this? I mean, what brilliant mind was thinking over at Dorito Land, sitting in the executive meeting, why not the flavor coffee?
You said brilliant, I say sick. But whatever.
Hi, this is Tracy. I love coffee, but coffee Doritos sound disgusting. It's like the thing with pumpkin. I love pumpkin, but we should definitely not pumpkin everything.
I so agree with you.
Yes.
So agree with you. I can get just so tired. Already they're talking about the pumpkin spice stuff.
We've been talking about pumpkin spice since it went away in fall of 2023. I'm telling you, pumpkin pie, and that's it. Like pumpkin pie. I don't want no pumpkin soup, no coffee.
Rob and Lizz,
his morning crew.
Okay, so how do you say when you want to leave, when you, Rob, want to give some sort of indication to your wife, Amy, that it's time to leave a party, a dinner, or whatever, how do you signal to her that you want to go?
I use certain words.
Okay, like?
Here are the words. It's time to go.
You're so easy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
speak with clarity. Time to go.
My dad would just go, well, and you just knew, like, he's wrapping this thing up. It's time to go. I'm so happy.
So, Amy, my wife, she'll ask the question, do you think it's time to go? When would you like to leave? Which is my clue that she would like to go now.
Oh, yeah. She is giving full responsibility to you to wrap this up.
And so I play ignorance, and I'm like, we can stay a little bit longer.
Oh, my goodness. And she wants to absolutely just take your little head and just...
Time to go.
Oh. So I have heard people like, let's skedaddle. I'm like, how old are you?
How old are you?
Yeah, or let's rock and roll. I have said, I think it's time to dip.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to be young.
Oh,
so I'll try to pick up on that lingo. It's time to dip. Oh, she's the cool mom.
Scott's got the best way to get out of there.
It's a phrase that I use, and I first heard it as a kid at our family gatherings. Sometimes my uncles would sort of look around and they'd hit their legs and they'd be like, well, it's about that time. And then that was the cue. Let's pack up and head off. I've had enough. And I still use that today sometimes.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
Scott's saying it's about that time. It's about
and the entire family knows, all right, get your stuff, get your handbag, let's get it.
Rob and Lizz,
his morning crew.
If you were asked what really makes the perfect summer for you, how would you respond? It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. I'm reading that some people say 14 days with loved ones, at least 8 sunrises, and 11 dips in the water make for the perfect summer.
Only 8 sunrises?
Yeah, because you got to sleep in.
Well, okay, I get that. Okay.
When you're on the vacation, what makes a perfect summer? Sleeping in.
That is true, but I love to catch a sunrise cup of coffee, maybe a devotional, like right there
No.
outside. Yes.
That's what I had a vacation a couple of weeks ago because my daughter got married in Maine. So we took our time getting up to Maine, and we stopped at several places. But what I loved is I always bring my Bible with me. I've got like a small carry Bible. I could use the Bible app, but I kind of like something I can open up that have pages in it. I guess you can call me old fashioned. I don't know.
No, it's just tangible. Yeah.
But I have that. I'll have a devotional. I'll get my cup of coffee. I'll go outside if it's not blazing hot, like 118,000 degrees outside. And that's where I'll spend my time. I usually get up before most people in my family. And I'll naturally have that alone time. And I love that every vacation because I'll take full advantage of that.
Yeah, me too. Love it. And you got to have water. Like you've got to have something, whether you go to a friend's house for the weekend or you take a vacation somewhere by the water. That's the only way you have a perfect summer to me.
I'll splurge and have some tea.
No, looking out over the water, not a glass of water.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
So we know what red flags are. Red flags when you're in a relationship or when you're going to take a job, these kinds of things that make you go, stop, back up, get out of here.
That's a red flag.
Yes. Yeah. Then you have the beige flags, which are, it's kind of annoying, but I can put up with it. It's not a big deal.
What?
Yeah, beige flags. It's not a big deal, but there are things maybe, in your spouse that you're like, I kind of wish he or she wouldn't do that, but it's not enough to break the bank, kind of thing. Green flags are now a thing. And green flags are those things that you're like, this is why I'm with that person, or this is why I love my job. So for me, my husband's, one of his green flags is that he's so thoughtful. Like he's very analytical, but he's so thoughtful about when he wants to give a gift or when he wants to say something. He makes sure that it's exactly what it should be. He goes over the top. He's very creative in it. So that's my green flag from a husband.
I've never heard of this. Green flag's just the opposite of red flag. That's a red flag. Better watch out for that person. Oh, that's a green flag. That's why I like this person.
Yeah, this is why you should go out with this person, or this is why you should take this job.
I've never heard of the beige or green flag thing before, but it makes sense to me. I mean, if I were to pick a green flag from my wife, Amy, she just cares about everybody and make sure that people are taken care of. I mean, that's a green flag.
100%. 100%. That's like the shining star of her personality. And no matter what, she's going to be there for everybody in her life. And I love that.
Yeah, Scott's got a green flag on somebody.
And my wife, we went to Florida recently, and anytime we have a trip or anytime school's coming up, my wife is a great organizer, and she makes sure that we have everything that we need. School coming up, I know we got some emails from the school like, have you had this form? And she is all over that stuff, and I'm not, but she is fantastic with that. So she is great with organizing that stuff, attention to detail. So I appreciate that with her.
Okay, so enough negative in this world, right? I think you probably agree in that. So here's what we can do with the open mic today on the My His Radio app. Let us know about the green flag in somebody's life that you know and why it's that green flag for you. Remember, green flag's just the opposite of the red flag. Oh, that person, red flag, right? No, it's like, oh, that person, green flag.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I don't think when Ken went to the airport, he thought he was going to have a heart attack. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. He did. He's like almost 60 years old. I think he's around 57. I don't know if he knew he had heart disease, but all of a sudden there was a nurse, an RN, that was sitting at the same area where they were going to board for the flight to, I think it was Knoxville from Charlotte Douglas. And so she's noticing he's taking a nap, and the way that he's snoring and breathing, it was about to happen. And all of a sudden, here he is with a heart attack, and she jumps to action. She's asking people to get the defibrillator, literally saves the guy's life.
Right there. In the airport. Her name is Claire. She's an RN in the Charlotte area, and she just jumped right in. I didn't know that you could, and I'm not a nurse, obviously, that you could tell somebody maybe having a heart attack by the way they snore, the way they breathe. He didn't have any symptoms that he knew of.
Isn't that crazy? And knowing that, I mean, he could have passed away right there, but God used Claire, and she was just so alert, and she was so in tune, and she knew exactly what to do because it was about to happen. She saw it was about to happen.
Right. And she is an RN. Listen to this. Listen to the way God works. She is an RN in the Heart and Vascular Hospital Center in Charlotte.
Right.
So the perfect person at the right time, at the perfect space, knowing what to do, and wasn't passive about it, like jumped right into action.
Yeah, see? God knows what he's doing.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I have to watch it when I get in the car. If I lay my cell phone like on the seat next to me, on the passenger seat, I'll pick it up sometimes, like when I get to a red light or whatever to look, and it says can't be used because it's been in the sun and the temperature.
That's right.
Doesn't that happen?
It
Oh
does.
my goodness. So here's what's happening in Phoenix. Now, it's been hot around here. It's not as hot as it has been in Phoenix. The backup cameras in the cars are not working.
What? Because of the heat?
Yes, it's getting so hot. In fact, inside the vehicle, inside the car, it was 137 degrees. Another reason we don't leave pets in the car, that kind of thing. 137 degrees. And so when people went to back up, their cameras said the same thing that your mobile phone says. I mean, it'll say too hot, wait for the temperature to go down, and then you'll be able to use it.
That's wild. I'm so glad I don't rely on my backup camera. I think the only time I really use the backup camera because of a thing like this, because I don't want to forget how to back up, is just to make sure I'm not going to hit the car behind me. Because I back into spaces. I don't know if you pull in with the front, but I always back into a parking space. So that's the only time I ever use those things. Outside of that, it's the mirrors because I'm afraid that I'm going to forget how to back up without a camera.
Oh, yeah. And it will let you, like if you are parallel parking, which I try to do quite often, especially if I'm going, like a downtown situation or whatever, you got to see how close you are. And it's a little harder with your mirrors to just see how close. So I use the backup cameras for that. But otherwise, I do try to use mirrors.
How good are you at parallel parking?
I'm actually pretty good, but I have a smaller
really?
car. If I'm in my husband's truck, forget about it.
I very rarely use my backup camera. I'm still old school where I put my arm on the passenger seat and turn and look out the rear view window. I use all of my mirrors. I occasionally will use my backup camera if I am backing up to hook up to a trailer.
Okay, that's talent right there. I've been wanting to get an RV, and I'm thinking about maybe a travel trailer in a couple of years, but that requires skill. You got to back up. You got to get that thing on the trailer and all that stuff. I mean, that's skill right there that she has.
100%. If we're hauling our boat, like when we go on vacation, we take the boat, I will not drive. I refuse. I will not do it. So my husband has to drive the entire way.
And Joey, I tell you, he's a champ. He'll do it. Of course, it's his boat. So
Right, exactly. I'm kind of like, that's yours. Like, I'll take my stuff. You take yours.
I very rarely use my backup camera. I'm still old school where I put my arm on the passenger seat and turn and look out the rear view window. I use all of my mirrors. I occasionally will use my backup camera if I am backing up to hook up to a trailer.
see, now that's talent because I can't back up to a trailer yet because I'm thinking about in a couple of years getting one of those travel trailers that you can go around and do, the RV thing.
So, it just hit me. How do you practice for something like that? Because, if you mess up, you're messing something up.
So I heard that there are some where you buy the dealers. There are some dealers of RVs that have the big lots with all the RVs on them that will give you training courses for that.
Okay. Well, with the price you're paying, they kind of should.
You'd think, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if they all do that, but there are certain ones that do that. I've been researching it and looking at it because I'm hopeful, in a couple of years, maybe get an RV like that. But, that takes skill. But, I mean, back to the backup cameras going out in some of these cars because it's so hot. This is in Phoenix. This is where this is happening right now because it's so hot. I'm glad that I don't rely on my backup camera to back up.
I do to a certain degree. If I'm parallel parking or pulling into my garage, I need to know how much room I have before I might hit a trash can. That's the only thing that I'll use them for, most likely.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
One thing I have never understood, it's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio, is why a cruise ship has to have pizza until like 4 o'clock in the morning. They have a pizza bar till 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's been, I think, about like a decade since I've been on a cruise ship. I just remember all of the food. And you're right, they do have pizza until 4 in the morning.
I don't get it.
You get munchies after midnight or something like that.
I guess.
Pizza's always the comfort food, especially on a cruise ship. Princess Cruise Lines, they want to break a world record, so they thought, if we're ever going to get in the Guinness World Record book, we might as well do something outrageous. So they decided, how about the world's largest pizza party? So they did it at multiple venues inside their cruise. And they had over 60,000 slices.
Oh, my goodness. How big was this boat?
It's a cruise line. It's the Princess Cruise Line.
I get it, but it was just one boat?
Yeah.
Okay,
multiple venues.
I'm just thinking.
As far as I understand, it was Princess Cruises, so my guess it's one boat. Maybe it could be two, but 60,000. So they had 6,500 pounds of dough, 3,400 pounds of flour, 1,300 pounds of pepperoni, and 2,300 pounds of cheese.
Oh, yeah. I guess they did have to make it themselves. It's not like they could order DoorDash.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
This is a pretty cool thing. They have in New York City, where the beaches are, where the people can actually swim, drones that patrol the beach. And so what they look for with these drones, if there's anybody struggling who's swimming, and if there are any sharks in the area, so that they can clear the waters. But here's the thing. The seagulls, all the local birds on the seashore, see these drones. And they gather together and attack the drones. They're like, you have no place around here. This is our turf. It's the wildest thing to see.
Well, I guess it feels to them like extraterrestrials or something like that. They're like, okay, wait a minute, hold up. This only happened recently. You're flying. You're in my space. I'm going to take you out, and I'm going to get my friends to help me.
And so New York City police, which they're the ones who are doing this, are like trying to change flight paths and things like that because they don't want any bird to get hurt, number one. And another cool thing about these drones that are patrolling the beach areas to look for the swimmers that may be in distress and clear the waters if there's any angry things that are in the waters. They have floating devices on them. So if they see a swimmer in distress, it literally drops it. This thing inflates right for the person who's in the water so they can grab a hold of this thing and get to safety.
Oh, my goodness. That is so cool.
That is pretty cool. I never heard of such a thing, but it makes sense, and I'm glad they're doing it. It's just the seagulls don't like it.
I can imagine. They're also going to be territorial. Those are my fish. Get out of here.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
This is a very interesting hobby, and I don't know if you know a lot of people that have a unique hobby, but Adele, who's a librarian like in Jersey, has a hobby of collecting wedding dresses. She has like over 100 wedding dresses, and since she's a librarian, here's what she does. She loans them out for free to people who are like, I really need a wedding dress. And these are nice-looking wedding dresses.
Oh, they're gorgeous. I mean, she's been collecting them for years. I don't know if she uses the Dewey Decimal System to let people borrow, but I'm sure there's something that they have to sign to be able to use the wedding dress. But sometimes she just ends up giving those dresses away. But I don't know if she gets them at yard sales or whatever. But yeah, her love of being a librarian, I'm sure, is what inspired this loaning system of the wedding dress. But look at what she's serving, because not everybody can afford a wedding dress, but they want to have that day. Who doesn't want to have that
right
day?
With a beautiful wedding dress. I mean, even the one that she was married in not too long ago came from 1985. She's like, hey, this is a beautiful dress. I'm wearing this. And she collects them. That's very unique. I've never heard of a hobby such like that.
No, or a collection like that. And I think she goes from saying they're used that they're vintage.